Good afternoon and welcome to Pakistan Today News from our New York studio. I'm Chris Taylor. We begin tonight with breaking developments from Islamabad, where high-stakes negotiations between the United States and Iran have concluded after an intense 21-hour marathon session. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance confirmed that while the talks marked a historic moment, both sides ultimately failed to reach a final peace agreement. Washington cited Iran's refusal to accept key nuclear terms as the primary obstacle, while Tehran maintained it never expected a breakthrough in a single round of discussions. In the immediate aftermath of the talks, Pakistan's Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar urged both sides to preserve the fragile two-week ceasefire currently in place. Speaking in Islamabad, he emphasized that maintaining the truce is essential for regional stability and warned that any escalation could have far-reaching consequences. Dar also reiterated Pakistan's commitment to acting as a neutral mediator, working to prevent further tensions in the Middle East. Before departing Islamabad, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance struck a firm tone, stating that any future agreement would require what he described as a fundamental commitment from Tehran. He stressed that the United States needs a clear and verifiable assurance that Iran will not pursue nuclear weapons or develop the capability to build them. Vance also suggested that the lack of an agreement could have more severe economic consequences for Iran than for the United States. Meanwhile, Iranian representatives outlined several non-negotiable red lines during the summit. These include demands for the release of frozen financial assets and compensation for damages linked to recent military strikes. Sources within the Iranian delegation say that while some progress was achieved on secondary issues, major disagreements persist, particularly concerning U.S. and Israeli military actions. Tehran has described the talks as a final opportunity for diplomacy, raising the stakes for any future negotiations. Let's go live now to Islamabad, where our correspondent Sarah William is standing by. Sarah, what more can you tell us?
Thank you, Chris. The atmosphere here in Islamabad remains tense but cautiously optimistic following the conclusion of these marathon talks. Officials on both sides have acknowledged that while no final deal was reached, the very fact that such extended discussions took place signals a willingness to keep diplomatic channels open. Pakistani authorities are actively engaging with both delegations to ensure the ceasefire holds in the coming days. Analysts here believe that Islamabad's role as host has elevated its standing on the global diplomatic stage. However, there is also concern that without swift progress, the fragile momentum could quickly fade.
Thank you, Sarah William, for that update from Islamabad. In other developments, international observers are increasingly pointing to Pakistan's growing role as a key global mediator. By successfully bringing Washington and Tehran to the negotiating table, Islamabad has stepped into a diplomatic space previously dominated by Middle Eastern powers. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, alongside Army Chief Field Marshal Asim Munir, played a central role in the intensive 24-hour diplomatic effort, signaling Pakistan's renewed influence in global affairs. Finally, the recent diplomatic engagement has also revived hopes for the long-delayed Iran-Pakistan gas pipeline project. Experts suggest that if the United States moves toward easing sanctions, the multi-billion-dollar initiative could finally move forward. The pipeline has remained stalled for years due to geopolitical constraints, but the latest talks have introduced the possibility of a significant shift in the regional economic landscape. That's all for now. You're watching Pakistan Today News. I'm Chris Taylor.